for that test. GM, everyone. We're live. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Let's share the link, please. Let's share the link while I paste the link in our Telegram channel.
GM, guys.
Yeah. Let me post the link when we get started. We'll be looking at BTC. I think we'll start today by analyzing BTC charts, just so that you see what I was talking about yesterday. For those that were live yesterday, you would notice what we're referring to, what I was talking about in BTC. It actually played out. So we'll start by looking at that. So please share the link, invite anyone you want to. I said this week that we're having about 1 or 2 guests. I'm trying to finalize with their timetable, then see if we can get like a graphics out just for publicity. Trying to see if we can do like a brief graphics for that, and also to finalize the time based on their availability. So first things first, let me share my screen briefly. Spencer, what do you think about the market so far? I'm sharing my screen. We're jumping straight to the chat.
Well,
what do you think?
The market is just there basically. So there's nothing much. Excuse me. Can you just take on? Let me just take this call real quick.
No problem. All right, guys. So let's jump straight to this, please. Let's jump straight to this. So if we look at this, is BTC charts basically. This is BTC chart. So something happened yesterday on BTC. Let me take this out first. I'll put it back. So if we notice, this was a short trade idea that we drew yesterday. Yeah, this was a short trade idea, which I told you guys were facing a resistance. So for those that took this trade, kudos. I actually jumped in, but I jumped in late. I jumped in on this retest. That's when I jumped into this trade on this retest, which was at yesterday afternoon, when we came back up. That was when I jumped in, and I traded it all the way down. So it was a profitable trade. So if you guys recall, there was something I told you guys yesterday. I told you guys that overall we're still on a downtrend. Nothing has changed. We're still on a downtrend. Expect a pump when we go above this point. We're facing a huge resistance here, and this is a short opportunity. It's only when we go above this position that's where we see our odds longs, which were on red, and I think dash. That's when we'll see them move. Now, personally, I was on one major short trade. This one, I had not taken it yet while we were on the live, but I was already on a short trade that I had taken, which was Apex. Apex hit full TP. And today, it actually did hit full TP today. I was on this short, which I think I shared. I shared it when the price was somewhere around here on the live stream yesterday. I think so. The price was somewhere here when I shared it. Yeah, but I was on this long hit full TP. Apex. Short. It actually hit full TP. Now for the BTC own, I did an analysis, which I told you guys this. I told you guys that if we fail to break above this zone and this short plays out, there's a high chance that this point will not hold. So yeah, that was what I said. I said there's a very high chance that this point would not hold. But if it holds, then we should see a considerable bounce. But there's a high chance, depending on how fast it falls, there's a high chance that this level here would not hold. And I would not be surprised if we come down and take out the orders that are below, because most persons will have like a stop loss positioned below at this level, which is something that we tend to see the market do a lot. So I won't be surprised if we come all the way down, weak below this level, and clear all the orders that people kept here. It gets kind of like liquidate people or catch their SL, then after which it goes back up and attempt to break this level, which that is even when I'll be kind of like more confident that we would be able to go above this level after we have cleared the stop loss orders that most persons have kept here. We've cleared up that liquidity. Personally, that's where I'll be more confident. But if we still linger around this period for a while and we're unable to, then only leads to one direction, more dump. Now, there's something important to notice. I don't know if most persons noticed this yesterday. This is very important. You'll notice something that when BTC was dumping yesterday evening, it was yesterday evening, it was dumping around 7, 8 or thereabout. When it was crashing, because I was checking it to observe this my trade since I was adjusting my trading stop loss so that should a bounce just come, takes me out of the trade since I was already in profit. So what I was doing now was I had to like monitor this trade to adjust it real time, yet adjust my overall SL. Now, what I noticed is this: altcoins were not dumping while this whole thing was happening. Altcoins were not dumping. I looked at a couple of alts; they were just there. They were not reacting with this whole thing that BTC was doing. This whole dump from like 77. It was actually around 77. It just fell off from like 77 in 3 hours. It got to as low as 72 something. Altcoins did not participate in this dump. They were just relatively stable. There was no sell pressure coming from them. Yeah, so that is also like a good thing overall in the market. It's a good thing. But personally, what I would like to see is BTC just ranging so that altcoins can be able to reprice and recover. Personally, I would not like to see BTC even pump to higher prices. If it can range at this level all through this month or for the next 2 to 3 weeks, so that altcoins can be able to reprice. Personally, that is what I would prefer to see. So if we look at a BTC dominance chart, for example, let's look at BTC dominance chart. You'll notice something that BTC dominance has been dumping basically since yesterday. BTC dominance has just been crashing since yesterday morning. It started going down, which is actually a good thing for altcoins until it got to this level, and we've seen like a bounce. So let's zoom out to see if we'll still see like more dumps on BTC dominance. Okay, so one of the most interesting levels we want to see it is for it to go to as low as this level. If you notice when the market experienced the last green moment in the market, the last green we saw in the market, it was September. That was the period we saw like the last green in the market. It was September, and you can see how BTC dominance dumped then, dumped to 57% all the way to this level. That's when the market experienced a reasonable alt movement for last year. The other time we saw that it was January last year, which we all agreed that January last year too, altcoins actually did very well January last year, but then they did even better November, December. So if you see December 2024, if you check this period, that was when agents, AI agents and all was trending from like late November all the way to December up until first week of January, before we started getting those negative news based on Melina launching meme, Trump launching, and all of that sucking liquidity. But the point here, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is a bearish BTC dominance is good for altcoins. That's what I'm trying to explain basically. Bearish BTC dominance is good for altcoins. Once BTC dominance starts pumping, going higher and higher and higher, it's not really good for alts. It's sincerely not good for alts. So what we want to see, we that we have larger positions in alts, we want to see BTC dominance break down, if possible, all the way to this level. That's literally what we want to see, and that's what will give us that pump we need from our bags. So, especially, I don't know, are you there? Are you back? I don't know, are you there? Are you back? All right, so I don't think he's back. So let's look at Hype. Hype has been doing so well. Let's look at Hype chart. So far so good. Hype has done like really well. Yesterday it bumped to this purple line we had drawn since last year, and we saw like a huge sell-off. So currently I'm still observing Hype, still observing it for like some good entries. waiting to see what would happen in terms of its price action. One of the best areas I'll be looking to get into hype is if it can come all the way down to this level. That's where I'll be looking to long. Yeah, I'll be really paying attention to long hype if it can drop down all the way to this level. Another coin that I'm actually looking at is Riva. Very much looking at Riva. Like I'm so much looking at Riva. Okay, I think it's at the zone that I was expecting. Yeah, it's at the zone I was expecting because I was expecting it to drop back into this zone for like a long opportunity. So if you want to trade River long, you can do it on Bybit. I don't know if it's on Binance too, but I do know that it's actually on Bybit. So you can trade it there on Bybit via like features trading. So this is actually a good setup for River. It's actually a good setup. Oh no, I had not checked it this morning, but this is actually a good position to get into River. Very, very good position to get into River. You can put your SL at 9.9 and your TP, you don't need to go as high as 25. You can just keep your TP target at 19.2. I keep it at 19.2. But yeah, where to be expected to reach is like 25 or 24.8 basically. So this is actually like a very, very good trade for River. I won't FOMO to chase it. I'll just wait for it to like come back and tap into this position to trigger the trade. Personally, that's what I'll wait for. Wait for it to come back, tap in on it, and trigger this particular trade. Yeah, so that's for River. That's good. Like I always say, now that the market is extremely volatile, it doesn't make sense taking too many trades, whether you're long or you're short. It doesn't necessarily make sense taking too many trades. It doesn't. Now, if you notice, Ethereum actually dumped its BTC yesterday when BTC was doing that its madness. I think Ethereum followed it. And so Ethereum came and tapped this level, but nothing specific, nothing has really changed on this Ethereum chart. I'm not going to long it. I'm not going to long. I'm still just going to stay on the sideline, observing what is going to happen. Then for BTC, let's look at where we are. Where's like our interest level for BTC. So if I'm looking for a short for BTC, this is where I'll be expecting the price to come to. Then I'll be waiting to see how it reacts once it gets here. If I'm anticipating like a short for BTC, I'm waiting for the price to get to this level. After which I'll wait to see if there'll be rejections. If there won't be rejections, then I won't short. But if there'll be rejections, that is only when I'll consider taking like a short for BTC. So I want to see it actually get to this level and see how it reacts while at this level on the 1 hour charts and also like on the 15 minutes or 30 minutes chart. I want to see how it reacts within that level before I decide if I'll be taking a shot or if I'll just be waiting. So right now, as you can see, it's closed, but it hasn't gotten there yet. It hasn't. So I'll still expect it to come up, clear out this zone, and tap this level. That's what I'm expecting for BTC. And if it gets there and I'm satisfied with the rejection I'm getting, then I'll open like a short position for BTC. I'll open a short position with my SL at this zone and just keeping it simple, not targeting too far. Just keep it simple. Just target like 1 to 2. Back to 75K. I won't be targeting all the way down to this level. No need for that. So this is like my trade idea, what I'll be waiting for to see BTC. Note, I want to see rejection here. I really want to see rejection, see what the candles would close or how they would close before I jump in on this particular BTC trade. So there are just two trade ideas here. One is BTC. What's the other one? The other one is River. BTC and River. For River, I wanted to get back to this level and tap. I'm not chasing the price, but I want to get back and tap it before moving. And the River trade is on a 1 hour time frame. It's on a 1 hour time frame. So those are like two of the major trade ideas I'll be expecting today. Those are the two major trade ideas I'll be expecting. Please drop questions. Someone is asking about River. Yeah, I've already looked at the River trade. I've looked at the charts already. River is at a very, very good support. Like this support is really good. You can see how it was able to accumulate around this zone. First time, second time, third time, and how it bounced off here on Sunday. Yeah, so no doubt it's getting weaker. Yes, no doubt, but it's still like a very, very good level to get like a reasonable bounce and target this recent lower high we had on River. So let me know if you guys have some questions for quality. The red trade is still on. Let me open it. Red trade is actually still on. It's played around that level, up, down, up, down, up, down, but the trade is still actually there. Still very close to like my break even, but it's still just basically there. Okay. So any other stuff? Dash trade too is still there. Dash trade is still on. Well, I think I exited this based on break even. I think something like that, based on break even for the dash trade. All right, so let's look at please you can drop your questions. And especially if you're there, you can just unmute the mic and speak. So let's look at gold before we proceed to look at the overall market. So if you guys recall, there's something I've always said about gold. There's a strategy that I shared. I said it's good to like follow or maintain or observe, pay attention to it. I think I stated that basically. Now that strategy was simple. Funny enough, it's not on this chart. But yeah, that strategy was simple, which is if you want to trade gold, pay attention to accumulation zones. Once you break out of that zone, you long. Pay attention to where it's accumulating. Pay attention to where it's accumulating. Once it breaks out, you long. Same thing. If you notice here, it's the same thing, like almost everywhere. If it breaks out, either it's breaking out based on like consolidation or based on the bull flag. Anyone, shall just wait. Once it breaks out, you long. Now, this is when you look at the fact that gold is been bullish for the longest period of time. Now, the same thing continued after this huge correction we had to this purple line we drew. After the bounce, the same similar strategy again. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Once it breaks out, give it time to consolidate. Give it time. Sometimes you need to go to lower time frame. Yes, if you're a day trader, you need to go to like lower time frame. This was a short that we drew, I think, on Monday. You can see it failed, broke out. Now, these are like the consolidations that I was talking of. If you go to previous weeks, last week, 2 weeks ago, it's a similar thing. Once it consolidates and it breaks out, that is where you take your long. Once it consolidates and breaks out, that's where you take your long. Then you find another level again that's consolidating, wait for a breakout. Similar thing here. Notice the time frame is 15 minutes. A similar thing here. This is like scalping, by the way. So if you're jumping on these trades, it should last maybe an hour, 2 hours or thereabout, and you're out. If you jump on those trades, an hour, 2 hours, max 3-4 hours, and you're out. If it's not playing out within that time frame, then you're better off just exiting that trade. Yes, you're better off, because why I say so is because breakout equals to momentum. That's what breakout means. So if an asset breaks out, and note this is based on it's been bullish. So you get, so that's why you're not seeing me trying to short. Immediately these shots failed, which we drew here. I told you guys then that I wasn't taking this trade, but that was like the idea based on it's been shorting all the way. It's been coming down like all the way. This has been the direction all the way until it bounced here and we targeted another shot. Then it finally failed, showing that it has changed direction to start going towards the upside, basically, which is very, very normal. Trades can fail. You just need to understand why did it fail. It failed because it is showing that it has changed direction. It wants to start going up. So you don't need to be searching for short again at that point in time. You need to switch now and start searching for long. So the question is, what strategy are you using to search for long? What pattern are you trading? Is it support resistance, or is it breakout you're trading, or is it fair value gap? What strategy basically are you using now to search for that long? People use different strategies to search for it, but one of the easiest is once it consolidates and it breaks out, you get in. That's one of the easiest. It consolidates, see it has been consolidating all along, all this level, it's been consolidating. Once it breaks out, you get in. Now, another thing again, which is extremely important, another thing that is extremely important is when you're jumping into a trade, your exit is extremely important, very, very important. Most people jump into very good trades. I can jump into a trade and I lose money and you can make money. Why? Is because maybe I was rejecting profits. I was 100%, 150% up. I refuse to protect 100% profit or break even or protect at 150% until it gets to 200 or 300 before I take the profit. It can go against me. For someone that protected profit at 100% or 150, that person ended up taking a successful trade. But me that was waiting for 300% of what I'm risking, I ended up losing the trade. Okay, so multiple persons can take the same trade and some will make profit, some wouldn't because of trade management and discipline. Now, if you notice, there was a breakout here. You see the momentum clearly. You don't need to catch all the breakouts, so that's another thing. You don't need to attempt to catch all of them. And you don't need to chase it. If you miss it, you've missed it. There was a breakout here, and I jumped in immediately after the breakout because you have to wait for the breakout to be confirmed. I jumped in immediately. Now, notice, as usual, my target is usually 1 to 2. Very important. So someone that was targeting 300, 400%, you not make it in this trade. You end up losing money. So even in all these ones that kept running, I'm just targeting 1 to 2. I'm not interested in catching the very top. Same thing with this one too. It's just 1 to 2. Yeah, so you need to also pay attention to like your TP targets. And another thing too is your SL. You need to pay attention to your SL. So if you notice, my SL is usually below like the breakout point. If you notice, in most cases, my SL is either below the candle or below the breakout point, anyone. So this one here, this is the candle that broke out. It's actually below the breakout level and also below the candle. So those are like some things you want to pay attention here. And this one's taking 5 minutes chart. So it's actually below the candle and also inside the breakout point. Yes, it's, yeah, 5 minutes chart. So you can see it is inside that whole breakout point. So like I said, once you jump into these trades, some things you need to pay attention to. Time. The trade is not supposed to take so long to play out. It's not supposed to take so long to play out. 2 hours, 3 hours max, maybe 4 hours. If it's too much, 4 hours. If it's not doing what you want, you should be out of the trade already. Meaning price is either about to change direction or something else is about to happen. Or maybe it was a false breakout, still consolidating. So you want to exit that trade, or you want to move your SL to break even. Yes, you want to move your SL to break even, which is another very important thing when you're trading those breakouts. Because ideally, What those breakouts means is you're on the side of the trend. Basically, that is just what it means. You're on the side of the trend. Yes, gold did a huge correction, but right now it's being bullish again. It can get to this point and reverse. It might get to this point and reverse. Any is possible. You can't 100% predict where to get to before doing another level of correction again. Yeah, but I know I told you guys something that I would expect it to dump all the way to around this level. Then after which pump up a bit, then maybe still go down again. And I said that that's what I was expecting gold to do. Do a correction, do a relief bounce, then maybe still correct lower again because we've seen too much pump in a while. So I expect that correction period to be very, very volatile with lots of ups and down. So you can trade those ups and down, but you need to be very, very, very strategic. It's as simple as that. You can't go and take a trade on 5 minutes and it hasn't done your desired outcome, or 15 minutes. It hasn't done that desired outcome and you're still holding it for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. It doesn't make sense now. What then are you doing? Now, don't get me wrong, you can hold a 15 minutes chart trade for even a week, but that is only because it is going your direction. So how do I mean? Let's say you jumped in on this trade, for example, and it's going your direction. And what you start doing now is you start maybe adjusting your SL gradually. Start adjusting your SL. There are people that they will just move it to break even and they'll wait till it goes very far, then they'll adjust their SL to here and still allow it to be running, and they gradually just adjust their SL. Only in those moments you can see someone holding a trade that they jumped in on 5 minutes or 15 minutes for very long because it's going their direction. But imagine it's not going your direction and you are still holding it when you're not in the market. What are you expecting to happen? It can still go all the way till the end of liquidating you, where you don't have enough money in your wallet again to cover for your risk. They can end up liquidating you. So those are things that you really, really, really don't want to expose yourself to. Another thing too, if you're jumping on this short or lower time frame trades, you want to ensure that you have your SL in place. You don't just jump in with no SL, because just the same way it moves fast based on momentum and you being on the right side of the market, which is the most important thing. At the same time, the market can change sides or change direction ASAP. It can actually change direction ASAP. So you want to make sure that your SL is adequately placed. You don't want to just jump in with no SL. Very important. I think years back, we don't used to jump into trades with SL like years back, maybe like 2019, 2018, 2019. Most times we won't put SL in trades because we'd always expect it to get back and bounce back and all of those things. But for now, it's very bad if you do that. Exchanges can just mess up your account with a huge liquidation candle and take you out of that trade or clear your portfolio, like what happened October 10th. October 10th was very brutal for most persons. There are traders that don't use SL. There are traders that that's their strategy. It's long term, they don't use SL. So because of they have zero liquidation. But October 10th was like a huge, it was a huge, what do I call it? Reality check. Yeah, it was a huge reality check for most traders to ensure that you have your SL. In fact, there are even people that had SL, like me, one of my recent trades. There was an SL, but it did not trigger. It didn't trigger. So that also happens too. It won't trigger, and next thing you're in the negative. So sometimes we have issues like that, which is why even when I'm using trailing stop loss, I still ensure to adjust my SL just in case, because sometimes SL don't trigger. Especially, I don't know if you're there. If you're there, you can speak.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, guys. I had a very long conversation. So, yeah. Well, what's my outlook for the market? Basically, for me, the market is almost where it was since yesterday in terms of odds. We've just been getting news about Vitalik, what he's saying about L2s and what he's been selling. I think he has sold, around 5,000 Ethereum, running into millions of dollars. And basically, that's like the news in the market currently. Everybody's debating. He's selling Ethereum. We are having the debate of L2s not being their time has passed, basically, and then Ethereum also trying to move towards privacy and all that good stuff. So there are a bit of good news in the market, right? But except when we start to see January prices, or April, January prices, and then start to see September prices, should we really get excited? But aside from that, all we just have to do is keep an ear down for the news that could probably potentially move markets, and then also that gives us opportunities to swing the markets, basically. So it's either we're trading futures or we're trading spot positions. But it's basically the news. Look at the news, weigh what's happening. We are getting more compliance in the market, and then there are people calling for 40K, 60K BTC. So that's a bit of an extreme. Then you will have the group that is also calling for the bottom at 77K or 76K. So it's just keep an eye or ear for the market, and don't be too exposed if you're trading. Trade with tight stop loss. That's just my own advice for today.
Right. So let me just add a bit. So yes, like you said, Ethereum and Vitalik is saying L2s are no longer useful because of Ethereum gas fees are now cheaper and some other stuff he highlighted too. But that's an argument that's still up for debate, and most industry leaders are responding based on what he said in terms of their citing speed and transaction throughput. So those are some of the things that they are citing to make the argument that L2s are still very, very necessary and important. Well, aside that, I feel we are gradually getting to a phase in crypto where it's either we see extreme euphoria or we see extreme food. So what I mean is we're in a phase now where if the market starts pumping in about 2 weeks to 3 weeks, projects will do insane numbers and people will start taking profits. So simply put, we're in a market now where you have to, if you're jumping into a project, it's either you build your conviction and you start doing DCA over time so that you can benefit from those spontaneous pumps that would happen. And also, it should be fast to exiting the market, taking profit, because now we have boats and different ways that people use to take profit. So this is something I will talk about subsequently. Then there's good news for airdrop farmers. I think the Hammer is the Hammer also, the airdrop. Let me check it briefly. I think it says it's Hammer also. The airdrop was done yesterday, and some good money from it. I know I didn't participate in it though. Trying to check it's Zama. I think it's Zama. Yeah, it's Zama. Zama. The airdrop was done yesterday, and people did make some good money. Yeah, people made good money from the airdrop. Pre-sale investors too were able to see as much as 8x. Yeah, so which is actually good. So even the airdrop space, there are airdrops that are going on currently. There are airdrops that have paid this year, I think about 2 or 3. But this Zama is the one that has done the most in terms of the funds that people got as returns. Now, for people that are buying these tokens afterwards, I saw someone saying it's not going to sell. That's the part that I don't know why somebody will get the airdrop and the person will not sell. If you get an airdrop, exit 90%. In fact, the Zama has already started dumping. Has dumped over 50%. Exit 80, 90%. Leave the rest, because most airdrop projects, they come out at inflated prices. That's one. Secondly, the team, they haven't faced the test of time. They haven't. There's a huge test of time. They haven't faced other challenges that comes with community management, building, competition, change of trends, and all of those things. So if you get 10 airdrops and 9 out of 10 of those airdrops, you empty 90% of your portfolio or your reward, you will not regret it. It's only 1 out of 10 times that you might regret, but 9 out of 10 times you will be right and not regret it. Which is why I would always advise, if you get money from airdrop, exit 90%, leave 10%. You can always jump in, no matter how juicy, no matter how good that project is. Just exit 90%. You can leave 10%. The 90% you took out, you can always get back in, because there's a high chance that that project will dump back at least 80% eventually, maybe in a month or 2 or 3. But there's a high chance it will. This is something that is very practical. We've seen it happen multiple times. Yeah, so we've spent almost 40 minutes here, and that's all we take in today. Don't forget, we share them 2 trade ideas. Apply risk management and make sure you manage your trades properly. See you guys same time tomorrow, and practice safe trading. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.